Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, wait just a second. I want to make you stand up there uncomfortably. Okay. All right. How do you feel about that?
Okay.
Okay. Why not good? Why not great?
I thought it was better.
Okay.
What
was better?
I tried to do more in terms of, like, my big goal for this episode was, like, to just convey more, like, contrast, like, get the ideas I have in here, like, out more convincingly.
Okay.
And I felt like I did a better job of that, but I could have been better, so that's.
Okay, so that's one thing. Was there anything else that is holding you back from saying, yeah, I think that went pretty well?
My prep wasn't as good as I hoped.
What?
I still feel like to them it comes out of nowhere a little bit. Maybe not.
Do you feel that way? That the prep is coming out of nowhere? I don't think so. Does anyone in here think? No, I don't think that. I think some of it is maybe you're feeling unsettled before you begin, and then you're kind of caught reacting to the music as it's happening. It kind of maybe catches you a little, I don't know, not off guard, but just not hearing it before it starts. So why don't you start again and hear the music happening before you begin. So I don't know what you do, but I know what I do is I very, very quickly sing something in my head just to get that tempo.
Yeah.
And usually it is, well, this is not a good thing to do, but dum dum dee da dum dee dee da dum dum dee da dee da da dee dee da dum, and that usually will get my hands in motion. Or I just think tick 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 tock go. So something to motivate me. So try one of those. See what happens. Good. Now without the double prep. There's a little bit of, you're giving us a dead gesture, which can be useful from time to time, but it's got to be really inactive. So dead, meaning like that much. This doesn't say to anybody to play. It just says, boom. So if you do that, it's just got to be really small. Otherwise, just up, down. Okay? Not a thing wrong with that. Okay? Now to your other point about conveying a sense of variety, I think that was it, and
Yeah.
you know, some kind of attraction to the musical ideas. Let's ask them what they got out of that. Yeah, Aaron?
Yeah, I think that's an area you can grow a little more in. I thought the whole thing was a little light, and that's really nice, partially for some sections, but I think in general, some of the bigger sections could have used a little more weight. So that may be an area to explore.
Yeah, I felt like things were carefully considered, but things were carefully considered. You know, there's a little, when you pull back and I think, what was it, there was one gesture, I don't know, maybe it was here, where you're just kind of like padding the notes, bum, beam, bum, bum. There really wasn't anything like to it. It didn't say a lot. So I think being a little more in their space and trying to mold sounds rather than, I once said to somebody a long time ago, wow, I feel like I'm giving all this information and people are looking down and on their cell phones and being incredibly rude because people are looking down at their cell phones and being incredibly rude. I mean, would you do that in a gig? Anyway, it really hurts my feelings. I'm going to tell you. Maybe it shouldn't. Anyway, sorry. I think you need to engage in the sound just a little more, and I feel like your hand's kind of right on the surface of the sound.
Okay.
Rather than having something in there to say, like my colleague calls it a little bit of grit in there to kind of dig into the sound just a bit, okay? So I'm wondering if at letter A, you could take on just a touch more heaviness and a touch more feel in your fingers. I feel like you're just kind of floating on the sound. Now, when music is floating, great. That's a great...
That's what I'm good at. I struggle with this style.
Well, okay, so that's a thing, right? And we all have styles that we struggle with, yeah? So, you know, to know that, okay, angular music, rhythmic music, things that have weight, heft, I love that word that Anish used the other day, hefty, you know, that idea, that's going to be kind of your thing moving forward, that you know, okay, music like this is not natural to me. But music that's like this, Mozart's Serenade, that might be natural. This is not something to look pretty on. Okay? So letter A.
All right.
Don't look pretty, don't look conductory. Too pretty. It's too nice. Now, in an effort not to be nice about things, you know, now we've gotten away from some of the foundational things. Like, okay, I still have to show time, I should still have to do this, right? So can you find that, and it's not going to happen in 2 minutes, but can you find over time that balance between, I can't always look pretty when I'm doing this, I can't always look polished, but I still have to do the fundamental things. I still have to show the tempo and the dynamics and the articulation and all that. Try it one more time at letter A. I'm going to let you finish it out. Yeah, what was the difference in your ear?
I just kept thinking the word you said, grit, you know, there's a little bit more,
They played with more intensity
yeah.
that time than I think the first time, when they just kind of played for you. And it was nice, and it was, you know, very good sounds and good note shapes and all those things that we talk about. But there's no like intensity of the sound. And that time when you showed a little more intensity, then they kind of gave you some intensity back.
Yeah.
So be thinking about, I mean, you see me all the time. You've seen Dr. Thompson, you've seen Maestro Yampolsky, you've probably seen Bob Hasty quite a bit. There are very few times when I think I look pretty when I'm on the podium, especially in rehearsal. I think Dr. Thompson probably feels the same way. In rehearsal, you know, sometimes in performance we dial it back because we don't want to distract from this. But I will do anything in a rehearsal to get a response. Like anything. If it means I can't do it because I'm not gifted, I can't stand on my head, but if it would get a response, I'd do it. Just something. So you don't always have to look pretty. I know in this class, especially, you know, we're talking about so much of the technique and, you know, whittling you down into, you know, okay, put your arms here, put your elbow here, and all that. I understand that. But, you know, at this point, we want you to also be conveying all those good ideas that, you know, can get lost in somebody saying, oh, wow, she looks really good. Okay? Nice job.
Thanks.
All right, next. Tristan. Viva Music, San Francisco. All right. This is going to go great, right? Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't it? Let's find out. Hang on.
Just going.
I have to find my sheet. I won't be able to find it. How about Rick? He can do it. That's fine. Okay. You need a pen? Okay, Tristan, sorry about that.
I think I locked on to the offbeat.
Yes, right? It's just like, okay, I'm just gonna dee, da, da, da. It doesn't Drake play the brake drum really well? I mean, your second calling could be professional brake drum playing. You never know. Okay. So how'd you feel through all that? Like what was going on in the brain?
I think like the first couple bars were steady and then something got a little off.
Yeah, you felt something kind of wobble. Did it get faster or did it get slower?
It got faster.
Yeah, right? And then it started to settle down again here.
Mm-hmm.
So something happened here where everybody sped up because you sped up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if you can start us again, and you're going to see it on the video. You set up here, which is pretty good, and then you did this. Kind of like straight up and straight down. like a forklift, and you didn't give us a lot of information along the way. So we're gonna build this up from kind of the base on up through the levels of information that you have to give them. So first piece of information that you think is probably the most important in a prep would be the tempo. Exactly. Okay, so let's build that. So let's just sing, okay, rather than play in arm chops or hands, okay? One note. So you're just going to show us the time. That's it. Okay, that didn't work out as well, so let's try it again. Now, why isn't it working out quite so well? We're getting two tempos. We're getting the slow tempo up and the fast tempo down, which Seiji Ozawa said, slow up, fast down, very hard on orchestra. Okay? We just went 1, 2, 1, and boom. That's it. So maybe we'll put the metronome on. Come on. I think you were aiming for that one. Yeah, that's good. So whenever you want to go, 1, 2, 3, boom, boom. You just decide, and we'll sing for you. Da. I'm going to sing the downbeat, they're going to sing the offbeat. Da. I didn't do it that time. More. Ta. Da. Better. There's still kind of this like, whoop-a, yep-a, rather than just 1, 2, 3, lift, boom. 1, 2, 3. I even felt your arm wanting to kind of move up. Just let me try. 1, 2, 3. Does that feel different? Because on 3, I felt your arm kind of wanting to do this. One more time. 1, 2, 3. And I think for you, can I borrow that? The whole works, yeah. You want to strike this before you move up. So you're actually doing, that's 1, 2, 3. Right now, you're doing this. 1, 2, 3, and there's no energy. So the energy of the upbeat comes from actually striking on 4. 1, 2, 3, strike. 1, 2, 3, strike. All right? I would have you do that, and I probably will in a second. But let's see if you can. I'm going to hold this just in case. Better, right? Because now we're getting some consistency. Do it again. That's right. Now. And keep going this time. And we'll sing it. And keep going when you're singing. You got to hit it. Great. Now this replaces that. Thank you. You get your instrument back. Same idea though. Just think about every time you smack the ictus, it's making a noise. Bang, 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 bang. Wick's already practicing because he knows that he wants to hit that thing too. Okay, let's try it. We're singing. Better? I mean, watch the video of your first time through it, watch you practicing, watch that. That's what you need to do for this kind of music. This is very effective for the second movement, but this that's so rhythmic, you need to be thinking about striking something. Okay, so let's play and see if you can maintain that even here where I wanted to speed up a bit. And then when we get to here, I can tell you consciously made a decision, okay, I want this to be more orthogonal. Just make sure that you're not doing something funny here. Okay? And then we have one thing that I do want to talk about. Okay. Right from the top, work light. That's where it wants to happen. So I think what was interesting was now that you're putting energy in the ictus, some of the energy that's been up in other parts of your body are now starting to get focused out here. The first time through, it was like you were the man of many parts. Like you have the head and the shoulders and like lump dum dee da dum dee. Hey, right? So we really, for you, it's like the opposite of Jen. I want to like immobilize everything except for basically this. So if I could like put you in a straitjacket just with your arm like this, I probably would do that. But just know that I think you're doing that because there's all this kind of like subdivision going on in your brain that's not quite getting out to here. Okay? Could you, I'm going to snap because we're running short on time. Could we start everybody at measure 5? Can you, okay? I'm just going to snap. Here's 5, but you're feeling energy. And 1, 2, ready, go. Caught in a subdivision and you just kept a pulse. What was your biggest takeaway from this episode? Because you made a big change between what you showed us at the beginning and what you showed us just now.
Oh, really? For me, I was trying to lock down where the beats were versus the offbeats because I was really locking into the rhythm.
Right.
As the beat.
And it's feeling the silence because nothing happens there. So you've got to do something here and here to make sure that that silence has energy. Because if it lacks it, then there's like a vacuum and then you just lock on to the subdivision. All right, great job, Justin. Nice. Wick, you're up. You might want to lose the earphones. It's not standard attire, generally for, yes. Which does, since I have a moment, does bring me to a point, and you don't have to do this yourself when you're getting up in front of your peers, but if you do have a situation where you're called on to conduct, attire is important. Don't wear busy shirts, okay? Things that have patterns that look distracting. A little pattern is okay, like maybe Aaron's shirt's okay because it's dark and the pattern's not really intrusive, but Joe's shirt might be too patterned. I typically always wear black or a very dark top. One of the reasons I do that, kind of like Wick is doing right now, one of the reasons I do that is it subconsciously gets the players used to seeing me in that color so that when I'm up in front of them, and I don't, unless it's some like gig now, I don't wear the tucks and tails, I just wear a black, all black thing. So it kind of subconsciously, this presents the same image to them the entire time. There are other reasons I do it for myself. It's nothing that big of a deal. But you just want to have some kind of solid dark color because it's providing the background for this. And so anything that's kind of a dark solid color that people can see your baton, that's helpful. Something that's not busy. People go back and forth between long sleeves and short sleeves. I don't think that matters quite as much. But you do want to wear something comfortable as well because you're going to be moving. So anything that constricts your motion laterally, vertically, you don't want to wear something like that. If it doesn't feel comfortable, and if you're thinking in the moment, oh, I can't do this because of this thing I'm wearing, then that's not the right outfit to wear when you're conducting. Comfortable shoes, you're going to be standing for a long time. So just little considerations if you're ever called on to do that. Probably what you would wear, like not formal dress black, but just concert black where you're just doing like a black shirt, black pants, works out great. Okay. Now with that in mind, you are dressed and ready to go. So let's do it. You get the honor of finishing the blacksmith for us.
Okay.
He will be mostly dead after this. To the end. Congratulations. All right. So, is this too low for you?
Yes.
Yeah. I feel that way, right? Because you're like, whoa, what's happening here? And, you know, these are small notes and it's small print, so that's the farther down it is. And you have things written in your music, but they're really hard to see when they're like 8 feet below your eyeballs, right?
Yes.
So, was that better than your practice episode?
Well, I got through the whole piece, so I think that's a
Yeah, no, it was better. It was a lot better. So a couple of things. You get to hit the anvil as well.
Yay.
Yay. I get to hold it for you. Can we all just sing the beginning? Okay? Good. Now I'm going to change the position of this, but you're still going to play. Okay? So I want you to put the mallet up like it's your baton. Great.
And conduct.
No, you're still going to hit this thing. Now I'm trying to get you to go with me.
Oh, okay.
You still have to hit it. All right? So here's the thing. I'm going to start you here, and I'm going to keep lowering this thing.
Okay.
because I want to see if I can get your ictus lower. Okay? Here we go. And my arms will get tired. That's lower, it's lower. Lower your arm. Okay, so one thing is for sure, you can keep tempo. That is not a problem. But you can keep tempo when, it's like what we were working on with Tristan, when the thing that you're striking makes a response. It's harder for you, I think, to keep tempo when this doesn't do anything,
Right.
right? It doesn't say anything, it doesn't make any sound, it doesn't even make that sound, although you can practice that way. And I would encourage all of you to do that. And we're going to do this when we do asymmetric meter. Get a music stand in front of you and tap. Put it where you think your ictus is and tap. Deep, da, 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 deep, da, 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 da. You can just show downbeats. And for you, I think lower is better,
Okay.
because what happens is it starts to get trapped up here, and then your only method of movement is here.
Right.
Because really you've got this kind of chicken wing out here, and this is kind of immobilized, so then you're kind of forced to do this
Right.
rather than striking. So can you just nail something into a table that's lower? Yeah. So could we go and sing from the top? And I might
Just
just,
with this kind of motion, this amount?
yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. Yeah, it's better than this,
Okay.
which doesn't quite, I mean, that's the knocking on the door gesture. Right. And I might just make a small, just that, rather than something that's like a little floppy. Yeah, Harry Potter-ish. So could we just sing at the beginning? I might drive just a little bit, okay? Just to lower this arm. Ready? Singing. Does that feel different? Now, interestingly, when I stop driving, your arm wants to kind of creep up again. So I might just do this, just to remind you, just to keep that arm down, and to put a little weight on that arm. Okay, now it's your turn, and we'll sing for you. So give us a good prep. Yeah, so it wants to slow when the external stimuli isn't there. So the external stimuli could be aural. You could hear something go bang, bang, bang. That would be helpful if something was on the beat, or me going like this. So, as I said with Tristan, in the absence of some kind of mental energy, psychic energy, whatever, on those silences, there becomes kind of a vacuum. And then our energy is turned toward figuring out where the subdivision is, rather than the subdivision being a result of showing good primary beats. That all. It's a wordy way of saying, I think you need to smack the beats a bit harder. Bang, bang, bang. Like, you ever nail something into the floor? Yeah. Bang, 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 bang. Yeah, that's better. Let's go at letter A now, which is different music, but it's a section that has a lot of 4/4. Okay? And I could tell, like, the wheels were really going. Woo! So I picked this section because it's all in 4. So your job for us is to show us good time, which you're capable of. I know you are, because you hit the anvil and it maintained tempo. And the second thing is to show the style that you wanted to show, which was
Here?
Yeah, yeah, right, you made a choice to show a little more legato, so those are your two jobs, okay? I'm even gonna start them for you. This is A, right on it, everybody. And 1, 2, ready, A. If that happens, and
Yeah.
the meters are changing all over the place, if that happens, show the downbeats. Just show us the beats until you feel that downbeat come back again, and then you're like, okay, yeah, this is a 4/4 bar. Could we start it right, letter C? Right, so this is that alternating 4 and 3, 4 and 3.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to keep this here for a while. Here's right on C. So when it's stable, and I think maybe stabilizing a little bit, your time is magnificently improved, okay? You are capable of doing this. That's the most important thing that I want to get across to you. So it's just a matter of figuring out where is the barrier to keeping the time. Yeah, exactly. So some of that's, being mindful of your initial setup, because if the initial setup is up here, then it's hard to get back down here. So maybe for you, you need to think, I'm almost tempted to I want you to sit at your cello for a minute. Yeah, we're done with the baton. But I want to give you kind of a physical reference that may be helpful. So could you just play like open string? Any note. Yeah, so if you can somehow transfer that, which you're bowing down here, to your setup here, as if you were standing up and I brought your cello up here, which is kind of impossible to do. Well, not really, but a little bit. But if you could think about, okay, if I were standing up with cello, where would I be bowing it? I wouldn't be bowing it up here, because that's where you're setting up. You're like into the fingerboard rather than down by the bridge. That makes sense. So some kind of physical reference for you, I think, is going to be important. Okay? Nice job, Wick. Good improvement. This is all yours, I believe. All right, and we are going to need that whiteboard. Oh, and then you can pack up your instruments. We won't need them for the rest of the class. So thank you.